Don't compromise yourself. You are all you've got. So creating a rewarding career begins with living your values, doing what you love, using your gifts to make an impact. Why do I keep saying, and I mentioned this in my other 2 sessions, why do I keep bringing up values and doing what you love and using your gifts? The main reason I keep bringing that up is if you are in a career that supports your values and that you are utilizing your gifts, it takes no energy because that's who you are. You are showing up as your best self every day. When we are having to really work at something, or when we have conflict with an owner or a coworker, something like that, typically the conflict comes because there is a disconnect in the values or the priorities that people have. So that's why if you live your values, then how you speak, how you show up, your marketing materials, your messaging for your company, the words on your website, everything you do is going to be a reflection of that. And then guess what? You will attract people that resonates with. They're like, oh my God, that's exactly how I think. I want to hire that person. They will manage my property, care for my property just as I would. They connect with you. So that's why I kind of keep bringing it up. It may seem kind of fluffy, but it's really not. It's also where we get the joy from. So how do we know when we're valued? When we are compensated fairly, right? So when we're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we start to feel resentful because we're away from other things that may be a priority to us, family, friends, our personal time, okay, just our life. And we are being pushed up against the notion of I'm doing all this work for somebody and I'm not even being compensated for my value. So when you start feeling that way, then either you need to find a way to make more money, cut those bad owners loose, or you put boundaries around yourself and say, I'm not going to work 7 days a week. I'm working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Okay? We also know when we're valued when we are acknowledged for the work we do. Yeah, doesn't it feel good when somebody says, you've done a great job? I had a painter that, it was just him, so his prices were always really great. And I would call up Mick, hey Mick, I've only got X amount of money to redo this apartment. Can you go out and take a look at it and tell me what you can do? So he'd come back and he goes, okay, for that price, this is what I can do, but I can't paint inside the closets or I can't do the stairwell, but I can do everything else. Okay, great. Well, Mick was kind of a perfectionist, and so I'd go out and check on the property when the job was done. I always made a point of noticing the things that he did above and beyond. He'd paint the inside the closets. He'd paint the stairwell, because once the other walls were painted, it looked really bad, right? And he would do that. And I'd come up and say, Mick, I went and looked at the job. It looks amazing. And I noticed you painted inside the closet or you painted the stairwell. You noticed that? Yeah, I did. Thank you so much. I'll be sure to let the owner know that you did that extra work included in your bid, right? Everybody likes to have praise and feel like what you are doing is important and is valued, right? When we actively contribute to the vision and the goal. So again, we want to do work that matters. I think most people do. Most people don't want to show up and just clock their time card. That makes for really long days. So if you are the sort of person that really wants to have a fulfilling career and feel like you're contributing, you need to understand what the vision is of your company and then understand what your role is within that to getting to the success place, getting to that final goal. Because everybody contributes. When I had my company, there's no way I could have been successful without all my vendors. There's no way I could have done it all without my staff and employees. Okay? So everyone wants to contribute. Give people that opportunity. Also, when we feel heard and supported. So when you have staff that says, I'm buried. You need to sit and listen to them and figure out a way to triage so that they can get the important work done and maybe the other stuff gets put on the back burner. Or I would go around the office now, so my staff, I would see somebody's completely flustered. And I'd say, hey, Sue, seems like you're really preoccupied with a lot of stuff. She goes, I'm just buried in this or that. Oh, you got some phone calls you want me to return? Is there something I can do for you? Do you want me to review this or do that? She's like, really? You would do that? Sure. She goes, oh my God, that would help so much. So look, the ability to feel heard and to support each other is huge. To know that people have your back, your colleagues, okay? And yeah. When we feel a sense of pride about who we are and what we do, we know we're valued. For many of us, what we do in our work becomes our identity. It's who we are. So if we get laid off or we decide it's time to sell and move on, it's not easy. And oftentimes you've heard of those entrepreneurs that sell one business and they jump right into another, right? It's your identity. It's who you are. When I made the conscious decision to sell my company, I'm a very logical person. No problem. This is what I'm going to do. Da, 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 da. It took me 3 years to get to the emotional place to say I'm okay, stepping back, and letting somebody else take my company and do with it what they want. Make it better, put their own stamp on it. Because emotionally, that was my identity. And I loved my employees, and it was very emotional, the thought of stepping away from that. So a sense of pride in what we do makes us feel valued. When we feel that what we do matters, then we matter. So change your mindset about what you do. So let me give you a couple scenarios to help you out here. Because changing mindset, okay, we kind of get that, but how does that really show up in the real world? So, say you are a server at a wedding. Okay, you're working for the catering company, and it's a super hot day out. Everybody's sweating. Your feet are killing you. You have a headache. You've been working the party already 6 hours. There's like 3 more hours to go. The crowd's starting to get a little rowdy because they're having a great time. Okay, you could focus on that, or you could change your mindset and say, oh my God, I love what I'm doing. I am an integral part of this bride and groom's day. I get to help them create memories that are going to last a lifetime. I get to help their guests look back on this day and go, oh my God, that wedding was the bomb. How do you show up then, right? Yeah, you still may have the headache, and yes, it is still freaking hot outside, but don't you show up in a completely different way when you have that attitude? Here's another scenario. What if you are a front desk person or receptionist answering the phone all day long, and you're getting the same stupid question again and again and again, right? Okay, I see people smiling. I know property management. Same stupid question, and you're about ready to say, that's it, I'm done. And you're looking at the clock, waiting for it to be 5 o'clock. Or on your break, you're flipping through the magazine. Okay? Or you could change your mindset and decide that as the front desk person, you are so lucky. You have the most important job in the whole company. And I would argue that they do. You have the most important job in the whole company because you are the ambassador for the company. That person that walks into the office, that person that's on the other end of the phone, you're the one that gets to set the tone of we're a friendly company, a professional company, a service-oriented company. I get to be the ambassador. I am that first point of interaction that anyone is ever going to have in my company. So, yeah, you can, how different are you going to show up then? If you just look at your job as answering the phone, burning time until 5 o'clock, versus you are the ambassador of the company. I'll share one more story. When I worked in Silicon Valley, I was in marketing, and one of the things that I had to do every month, and I hated it, was I had to forecast our product sales domestically and internationally. And I hated it. I think everybody else in marketing hated it, which is why I got the job. So in software industry, it was casual, khaki pants, polo shirt, all of that. Well, once a month, I would come into work, heels, business suit, makeup on, hair done. I was the freaking CFO of the company. And my boss would look at me and say, "Are you interviewing?" No, it's financials. Today's financials. Every month he'd ask me, and every month I'd come strutting in like I was the CFO of the company. And my thought was, if I was the CFO of the company and I dressed like the CFO of the company, then what I was doing that day was important. Because the CFO of the company is not going to waste their time doing piddly stuff, right? So that's how I got over the hump once a month, doing what I didn't like doing. I could have trudged in and just said, oh my God, I hate doing this. But no, I kind of like pretended. I was acting that I was the CFO. And then it made me feel important, and therefore what I was doing was important. So sometimes that's what changing your mindset is. You look around you at work and you decide, okay, how am I going to show up today? How am I going to be the best that I can be? Because let's face it, a lot of the things that we do in our everyday work is not fun. So if you can make opportunities to have fun, that's great. But sometimes it's a simple mindset that we can change.